Hola, 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 mis amores, ¿cómo están? ¿Cómo están haciendo? Espero que están teniendo un muy buen día y también un muy buen semana. Espero que están haciendo muchas cosas fantásticas. How are you? How are y'all doing today? Hope you're having a really, really good day and week. So today I want us to talk a little bit more about the most dangerous kinds of males. I was looking at some things as usual on social media, especially on YouTube and TikTok, and it got me thinking, oh my goodness, there is a spectrum, right? So, depending on where a male falls in the spectrum, they actually can become more and more dangerous to you as a woman. So, this is like the spectrum of danger and dangerous males. And I don't just mean physically. So, let's take a look at some stitches of the most dangerous kinds of males. Like the video helps the channel out so much, and subscribe as well for continuous and frequent content like this one.
So the most dangerous kind of man is the one that leaves and comes back. He keeps leaving and he comes back. Every 3 months, hear his ass come like a motherfucking helicopter floating around trying to see what's going on. This man will confuse you for the rest of your life if you let him. This is the same man that will lead you to poverty. He has no provision. He has no direction. He has no core sense of self. He has no heart. He can't even stand on what he said. And if you one of them ones, if you one of them ones like, oh yeah, he know where home is. He just can't stay away. He just keeps coming back. Okay, baby girl. Is that what it is? Or are you just always open for business? Are you just low-hanging fruit? Are you just a revolving door? A low barrier to entry? Don't look, the joke is on you. Why he didn't stay the third time he left? Why he didn't stay the 5th time that he left? Why he don't ever stay? Don't flatter yourself, baby. The joke is on you. I always believe when a man says that he's not ready for a relationship, this is not what he wants to do, y'all not on the same page, he doesn't want that, because at least he stood on what he said, okay? You need to close the door. It may hurt a little bit. It may hit you in your chest, but at least the man know what he wants. Close the door and let him stand on what he said.
The most dangerous type of man to society is a man who is entitled. Men who believe they are entitled to a woman's perfection. Men who believe they are entitled to a woman's body. Men who believe they are entitled to revenge. Men who believe they are entitled to something. Men who ultimately walk around every day with the belief that society owes them something, that it is their God-given right to be handed the things they want. And what do these type of men do when they do not receive the things they believe they are entitled to? They go out and they take it by force. By taking a woman's innocence, or shooting up a school, or, God forbid, becoming a libertarian. When they believe things they should earn are a God-given right, they go out and cause damage.
Let's talk about one of the most dangerous types of men to date. Story time. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Sally who met a man named Chad, and they fell madly in love. Over the course of their 20-year marriage, Sally and Chad had 2 beautiful kids, a McMansion in the suburbs that lived the American dream. Until one day, Sally found out that Chad had been having an affair and was leaving her, which came as a surprise to absolutely no one, because it turns out Chad had spent the bulk of their marriage being an absolute freaking prick, doing whatever he wanted and spending as little time with Sally as possible. Chad refused to go on double dates with Sally and her friends, loved his boys only poker nights a little too much, and even told Sally that she should take the kids alone on vacation because he didn't like traveling, but that shouldn't stop her and the kids from going. How gracious. Now you may be wondering why Chad married Sally at all if he didn't want to spend any time with her. And it's because Sally's parents were well connected, well respected, and had the kind of money that Chad always dreamed of having but never really wanted to work for. And so when the company Chad worked for went public, he suddenly didn't need Sally and her family anymore, even though he seemed to have conveniently forgotten that Sally's parents were the ones who got him the job in the first place. And all Sally had ever wanted was to care for a husband and children and be cared for in return. And the moral of the story is that the most dangerous type of man is a selfish man. The man who does just enough to convince you he loves you when you're about to give up, but whose needs will always come before yours. The man whose definition of love stretches only so far to encompass what you can do for him, but not what he can sacrifice for you. And even though Sally learned this the hard way, I hope this thinly veiled story helps you learn in a less hard way that the conditional love of a man isn't love at all, because once those conditions no longer exist, neither does the love. And trust me, you did not make it to the end of this video to play a supporting role in Chad's story. Please remember that you are the main character, the heroine of your own story, and at the end of the day, well, he's just a Chad.
shithead. The clearest sign I ever got that a man was dangerous, let's talk about it. So I've been dating this guy for a couple of months at this point, and he was not the most ambitious man. In retrospect, he was probably a shithead, but he was different from what I was used to at that point. So one day I was spending time with him, and just in conversation, I referenced his ego. Now, the way that I was speaking about ego was not like, you have a big ego. It was just purely like the discussion of what an ego is, what the ego is in the mind, the psychological definition of ego. The only thing that I was like even referencing was the fact that it can influence our decision making and everything. Now, this guy had told me that he had been to university and taken a whole bunch of these psychology courses and everything, and I had already started to clue into the fact that he had like really inflated some of that stuff, and it was becoming more and more evident that he was like extremely insecure. But 2 months into this, I really never perceived him as dangerous until this conversation about ego. That conversation triggered him so much, he immediately felt attacked just by the fact that I said he has an ego. And it didn't matter how many millions of times I tried to explain to him that every human on this earth has an ego, he could not get over the fact that I had said that he had an ego. Here's where it became really clear that he was actually going to be a very dangerous person for me to be in a relationship with. I straight up Googled the definition of ego in front of him and showed him, like, no, I was just trying to speak to you about what the ego is and how yours might be influencing your behavior, your decision making, whatever. He spent over 2 hours arguing with me over that and would not even give me the space to end the conversation. I was stuck with this guy. We had gone to this location like in his vehicle and we had been working on homework together. There was absolutely no way for me to escape other than him to drive me home. And it became startlingly clear that until I gave in to him and admitted and told him, yes, you are so right. I am just a horrible person who attacked you by saying that you have an ego. Until I gave in and did that, like, he could not stop arguing with me. It was only a couple of days after that I was like, I don't want to see you anymore. That conversation and the fact that I was cornered and forced into admitting that I was the bad guy triggered my trauma so bad that every feeling that I had about him turned off. Honestly, from that point forward, I was basically disgusted by him.
The most dangerous guy is not the guy who disappears. It's the guy who disappears and reappears and disappears and reappears. Yeah. Because that guy will waste your life.
Okay, so leave it in the comments what you think, y'all. Also, don't forget to please like the video, helps the channel out so much, and subscribe as well for continuous and frequent content like this one. So, what do y'all think? These are the most dangerous type of males, especially the ones that leave and come, leave and come. You will waste your whole life if you choose to entertain this caliber of an individual. I also think that really it's safer for women. It in my opinion, and y'all might tell me how you feel on this. Go ahead and tell me how you feel on this. But in my opinion, it is safer and better for all women to consider all men as dangerous. When you meet any guy, any male, it is safer for you to just by default consider them dangerous. And that way, in order for them to earn your trust, they have to work for it. They have to work for it. These are just some of the most dangerous types of males. We didn't even get into males that are physically harming women. We didn't even get into males that are mentally gaslighting women, right? That are mentally harming women. We didn't even get into all of these other areas, which is why I always say 97 to 98% of all males across the world are no good. Then they want to complain that, oh, women only chase the 1%. That's because the rest of them are beta males. They're no good. It would be a complete waste of a woman's time to chase after these subpar males, in my opinion. But yeah, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.